geopolitical tensions happening around the world, and we saw what impact that has on food prices, on fuel prices, whether it's the Russian war in Ukraine affecting grain prices dramatically. It's causing inflation across the African continent.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. I'd like to start this session by appreciating you so much for making this channel grow. If you wish to support us, just subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. William Ruto was taken through an interview that was held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And in that interview, there is something strange that I noted the moment William Samoei Ruto was given a chance to respond. What I noted in that interview, probably after seeing this video, well, you've probably also noted that same body language. When William Samoei Ruto was asked to comment about the effects or the geopolitics, in regards to geopolitics, to talk about the effects in terms of the high cost of living, matters geopolitics. He was asked to talk about them, but he declined to directly approach the issue. So he went straight to COVID-19.
These events happen. It has a spillover economically, and it takes our eye off the ball in terms of achieving our climate goals.
Well, COVID pandemic.
COVID-19. William Samoei Ruto was asked whether he believes that the Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Palestine war, or whether he believes the geopolitics or the geopolitical nature of the world will affect the high cost of living. Then he went straight to blame those three items. In fact, went to an extent of blaming another item of COVID-19. COVID-19 came somewhere there in 2020, and Uhuru was the one who was in power. But if you look at life now, in terms of the cost of living now, and the cost of living when COVID-19 was at its peak, there is a very, very big difference. If I looked at the interviewer well and how she was trying to corner William Samoei Ruto, I could tell that she could have done her research well and knew that if I asked William Samoei Ruto this question, then he will hesitate to answer it. Why? Because William Samoei Ruto knows very well that when Uhuru started telling the people the true reason why the high cost of living was where it was back then, he's the first people to say that that is not the reason, that geopolitics is not the reason why Kenyans were suffering. He went to an extent of asking why is it that fuel in Uganda iko chini, Tanzania iko chini, and Kenya iko juu. He went to that level. So, geopolitics. So, the interviewer could have well calculated her points and knew very well that if I asked William Samoei Ruto this question, and this is not the first time William Samoei Ruto is being asked this question. When he was in US, when he was in the UK, these questions were always channeled to him. So personally, I think there is why he's always been asked this question, because they are literally maybe trying to expose him. Could you say that? Or could you say that maybe they just want to get a perception of him? What could be the case? You know, in the answering, Ruto talked about the mistake of Israel attack on Palestine. This is also one of the things which he mentioned.
There's lots of geopolitical tensions happening around the world, and we saw what impact that has on food prices, on fuel prices, whether it's the Russian war in Ukraine affecting grain prices dramatically. It's causing inflation across the African continent and making things so unaffordable. And of course, it creates a huge debt burden. We're also seeing on our doorstep here in the region, in Israel as well. How closely are you watching these events? Because when these events happen, it has a spillover economically, and it takes our eye off the ball in terms of achieving our climate goals.
Well, COVID pandemic, the war in Ukraine, what's happening in Gaza and Israel, all these are really unfortunate situations, especially in a world where we are facing a climate catastrophe. And what has it done to us? Increase the prices of fertilizer, increase the prices of grain. Cost of living is a challenge. And cost, a ripple effect on what we already are facing, the effects of climate change. We better live together because this is what it is.
Mr. President.
And that is why we have walked away
a round of applause
from the North versus South issue, because we have one world and we need to realize that that's what it is.
So this is a bit different from the stand of Biden, or of Joe Biden, the president of the US, the stand of King Charles, that is a UK king, It is slightly different from what they believe in. They believe that Israel is doing the right thing, by targeting Palestinians. Whereas the people in the East, the Middle East, believe that Israel is not doing the right thing. So the world is divided into Israel and Palestine. That's why someone said that we are likely to foresee a World War III. There was a time, let me just talk about this Israel issue kidogo. There's a time Israel said they suspect that Iran are sending rockets to their territories, probably to bomb them. There was also talk that Israel responded by sending the rocket back to where it came from. Geopolitics is a very, very critical factor, and I believe that that question which was posted to Samuel RUTO was meant to corner him, to get him to say something regarding that, and then he fell in that trap. But in the middle of trying to respond to these questions, William Samuel was trying to, salvage himself from that trap which he found himself in. Because if you tell the interviewer that the Israel, because she wanted to get a perception of William Samuel regarding the Israel-Palestine war, but William Samuel appeared to be, alionekana kama ni mjanja kidogo. Akamwambia, we know Palestine are trying to fight for their right, akin to what we did, what Kenyans did in 1962, 1963 there, when they wanted to get their own independence. So he said that Palestinians are doing that. They want to get their independence. Then on the other side said, Israel-Hamas war, or Hamas did the wrong thing of attacking Israel.
How closely are you watching these events? Because when these events happen, it has a spillover economically, and it takes our eye off the ball in terms of achieving our climate goals.
For example, in Kenya, we have suffered the brunt of struggle for independence, the same way the Palestinians are doing. We have also suffered the challenge of terrorism, the same way Hamas visited terrorism on Israel. Both are wrong. We need to find a solution that respects human sanctity of human life. And
so he's trying to be a neutral person in this debate. Probably he doesn't want the blames because he knows very well that Saudi Arabia supports Palestine. US supports Israel. So he was trying to balance here, trying to balance between the two groups. Asionekana na support Israel, asionekana na support Palestine. But hapo, to Biden, according to Biden likes someone who makes as a stand. Just like South Africa. South Africa is saying Palestine are right and Israel are wrong. That is what the people in the Middle East and the people in the BRICS wanataka. Chinese are saying Israel are wrong, Palestine are right. That's the narrative. Iran's, Lebanon, all these countries are saying Israel is wrong, Palestine is right. So the interviewer wanted to get a perception of William Samoei Ruto matters geopolitics. And geopolitics involves the crisis in Israel, the crisis in Russia. So he was a bit calculated. He knew that if I answer these things to favor US, hapa nimeumia. If I answer these things to favor the East, hapa nimeumia. So what do? I just balance. I balance. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of that interview on William Ruto regarding his perception on the geopolitics nature and how the interviewer tried to corner William Ruto, akajaribu kujiepuka from that, your trap ambayo alikuwa amewekewa. So what do you make of that? So, ladies and gentlemen, to those people who have not subscribed to this channel, I'd like to kindly encourage you to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. To those who have supported us by subscribing, liking on our videos, and sharing our videos, I want to say here that I'm forever grateful for that support, because without you, this channel cannot grow. So until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.